Imagine recognizing the seeds of an epidemic before anyone else could see them. Imagine warning the scientific world that something dangerous was spreading and being ignored, dismissed, underestimated. And imagine discovering, weeks later, that your warning had been right all along, and that your knowledge was the only thing capable of stopping a crisis. This is the true story of Jewel Plummer Cobb, the woman whose scientific insight prevented a silent epidemic and who received almost no credit for it. In New Jersey, during the early 1920s, Jewel was born into a world where science was not meant for women, and certainly not for black women. At school, she was told, girls don't become scientists. But Jewel was different. She had a curiosity that refused to sit still. She would spend hours dismantling small objects, examining textures, trying to understand how the invisible worked. Her father was a doctor, her mother a musician. Both recognized the spark in their daughter, a spark that defied the expectations of her time. From an early age, she didn't just learn science, she saw it. She saw patterns, growth, and mutations, little behaviors no one else seemed to notice. And that gift would change the future of medical research. By the time she reached university age, the world of science was still heavily segregated. Most institutions rejected her, not for her grades, not for her talent, but simply for who she was. But Jewel refused to accept a future that others designed for her. She pushed her way into laboratories, earned her degrees, and became one of the few black female scientists leading research in mid-20th century America. Her specialty, cell biology and microbial contamination. This gave her the perfect vantage point for detecting a disaster before it even started. And that disaster began quietly. So quietly most scientists never even noticed it. It started with strange results in different laboratories across the East Coast. Cell cultures behaved oddly. Experiments failed for no apparent reason. Infections in patients didn't match any known patterns. Most scientists blamed faulty equipment, or temperature, or simple human error. But Jewel, after comparing sample after sample, noticed something chilling. A microscopic contaminant was spreading across laboratories, invisible to standard detection methods, and it was capable of causing real infections in clinical settings. It was what we now know as mycoplasma, one of the smallest and trickiest bacteria on Earth. This organism caused no immediate fever, no distinctive odor, and couldn't be reliably detected by common tests. It caused rapid contamination in medical cultures and spread quietly inside hospitals. In other words, it was the perfect recipe for a hidden outbreak. Jewel prepared a detailed report. She explained the threat clearly. If this unseen bacterial contaminant spread unchecked, it could trigger a chain reaction of infections. Not explosive, not dramatic, but persistent, silent, and devastating. She urged laboratories to adopt strict contamination protocols. She asked hospitals to test for the organism. She warned that the threat was real. The response: dismissal, skepticism, and patronizing smiles. She was a young woman. She was black. She was challenging established laboratories. And the scientific world simply did not want to hear it. But the bacteria didn't care about politics. Weeks later, multiple hospitals reported unusual infections, exactly matching the symptoms Jewel had described. Laboratories discovered their cultures were compromised. Research data was corrupted. Medical diagnostics were at risk. Suddenly, the scientific community found itself in chaos. And the question echoed through meeting rooms and phone calls. Who warned us about this? The answer was the scientists they had ignored. When Jewel returned to the laboratories, she did not ask for recognition. She did not demand apologies. She did not say, "I told you so." She simply asked, "Where do you want me to start?" And she worked. She designed contamination-free culturing techniques that are now standard across the world. She created testing procedures to detect mycoplasma early. She trained entire teams of researchers to prevent what could have become one of the largest laboratory-linked outbreaks of the century. Her methods saved countless lives, and yet her name rarely appears in textbooks. But millions of safe medical cultures today carry her invisible signature. Jewel Plummer Cobb went on to lead major universities, fund scholarships for women scientists, and push for representation in science long before it was fashionable to do so. Her impact is not in headlines. Her legacy is not carved in stone. It is in every accurate test result, every safe laboratory, every medical breakthrough that depends on clean, uncontaminated samples. She stopped a crisis before the world even realized it was in danger. Some heroes saved the world with a sword, others with a uniform. Jewel Plummer Cobb saved it with a microscope, a sharp mind, and a voice that refused to be silenced. She proved that courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is scientific, persistent, and quietly worth. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories. We'll see you next time.